Hey guys, Disclaimer Magic here, and it's time for a video that will absolutely shock you. And I really wanted to put a jump scare there, but some of you would honestly never come back to the channel. So just pretend I did and think of how funny that would have kind of been. But no, this video is going to surprise you a bit. There's a rumor going around that Wizards really didn't actually reprint Eternal Masters. They were just sitting on the rest that they printed last time all at once. So they never actually resent it to the printing facility at all. They just sat on thousands of cases, if we'll say, and now they're just releasing them back onto the market. That totally sounds like something they would do, first of all, and second, it just seems so out of place to just out of nowhere with no prior notice, no anything, no warning, just say, hey, this product that we said was done was just a one and done limited print run set. We're just going to print it again. Like for no reason. They literally stated not one single reason in the announcement. They kind of implied that maybe people didn't get to draft with the first one because people ran out too quick, and maybe it kind of had something to do with Christmas but wasn't intended as a gift. So other than that, they did not come out and say, hey, here's why we're doing it. Like, yeah, this is weird. Here's why. I was expecting somewhere in that article to be something about, hey, not enough players that wanted it got their hands on even one single booster, so we're going to send some more down the pipe. Hopefully you can get some this time. No, they didn't say that. So with the fact that, Wizards lies all the time, and then mix it with the fact that this is so unbelievably unusual, people are like, conspiracy theory time. So let's look at the evidence for it. One, there was never a second wave. Ever. Allegedly, and I do not know if this is true or not, there was a second or third wave of product with Modern Masters, which is, the only thing we can really compare it to. I had heard that isn't true. Somebody else told me that no, for the limited print run sets, they know exactly how many they're printing, they print them all at once, they ship them to the distributor at once, the end. What I do know is that with Eternal Masters, I did verify this with my distributor, there was one wave. That's it. As far as I know, there's one wave from the vault, there's one wave of the fat packs, one wave of the deck builders toolkits, one wave of everything other than booster boxes, basically. So to release a product as one wave is not that unusual. So since Eternal is the most expensive format and there's the least number of players playing it, at least compared to Modern, they could say we're going to print exactly this much. We know exactly how much it is. It isn't much. Send it all out in one wave and be done with it, because any more would damage the market. So that's the logic for it. Also, apparently I just found this out recently. Who knew? I mean, there's just so many lies and hidden information about the Magic the Gathering product distribution that it just pisses me off that I don't just have a whole map of how this all works. But it's all just secrets piled on top of lies. Seriously, my own distributor has lied to me many, many, many times. This is all just some cloak and dagger backstabbing BS, and I'm sick of it. But anyway, apparently you can buy certain products direct from Wizards once you're like a certain level of store or something. I don't know. I had heard that that's not how it works, but now I heard that is how it works. That means that Wizards owns a warehouse. Just in general, they own a place to store all the cards. So that said, maybe it's large enough to house, pallets upon pallets upon pallets of Eternal Masters if need be, but maybe it isn't, because they don't tend to do that. They don't tend to, as far as I know, and good luck finding, any verification on this, but as far as anybody knows, they do not regularly sit on, 100,000 cases of anything ever. They basically get it in, hold it, sell it, and move it really quick. Now, I do think that they have to store, pretty much the whole print run, but if there's a second wave and third wave, it might literally be coming from the printer, and there's pretty strong evidence that it's coming from the printing company. So what they probably do is say, oh, Aether Revolt is coming out. Let's fill up our entire warehouse, not counting MTG Online, redemptions, whatever, but that's time limited, whatever. But basically, whatever's coming out, let's fill our entire warehouse. Okay, start selling it, and then print more, and then wave 2, wave 3 as needed, whatever. So they do that with any set that's about to come out. But that means that why would they have a warehouse that's double the size of what they need? So let's say, they got kind of a standard product or another product. They got a Commander thing coming out, FTV, whatever. So there's only 25% of the warehouse left. So they need to fill up 25% of the warehouse with Eternal Masters. So they do that. And then the warehouse is 100% full. So then they send every little bit of that, because it's a small set and that's not much. They send every single bit of that to the distributors and then don't order a second print run from the printers. Well, let's flip it around. They did order a second print run from the printers, or they somehow only sent, 12.5% warehouse worth to the distributors and kept the other half for some odd reason. Well, whatever standard sets and whatever else was being released at the same time had to be in the warehouse too, and there's only limited space. It's not cost efficient to make your warehouse 4 times bigger than it needs to be and then never use the space except under emergencies. That's stupid. You could just rent storage. So now, think about how many sets have come out and how many products have cycled through Wizards warehouse since they, the whole time allegedly were holding Eternal Masters. I don't think they physically have the space for it. But like I said, yeah, they could be storing it off-site. So that's not very strong evidence. Yeah, they could print whatever they want, whenever they want, and store it wherever they want, however they want. It's doable. It just seems less likely. So did they lie about it? Were they hoarding it? Were they not? I don't know. Just from a, puzzle pieces together logic standpoint, I could see either way. So let's dive deeper and analyze this further. Let's talk about the value of singles because this is very complicated, but I'll make it very simple. In general, Wizards doesn't give a crap about the price of singles. They care about if sealed product sells because they don't sell singles. If boxes are going for like 100 retail and the EV of the box is 50, but people are buying it for some dumb reason, then Wizards doesn't care because they make the same amount of money. Now, people who really don't understand how this works tend to say, well, if they, do something, they hold back, they do an artificial shortage, they underprint it, maybe a box will be worth 150 and then everybody wants them, they want to open more. Well, if they open more, then the singles go down. So if they underprinted or overprinted at some point, it's going to stop selling. So let's say, they do Eternal Masters, super short sets, super short print, okay, which, yeah, they did. That is what happened. The EV is super high. Let's say, it sells for 250 and the EV was like 300. I have no idea. I don't remember what it was. Well, no, everybody wants it. Everybody wants it. Everybody wants it. They created all this demand and they sell completely out because of the high demand. Okay. Now all they did was make money on the small set. They sell it for one static price and that's it. So let's say they're making 100 a box, which, might be about right. And they sold 1 million boxes. Well, that's $100 million. That seems high. I don't think it's that high, but, stay with me. Well, now, what if they printed double that? Okay, now they'd be at 200 million if they can sell them. Oops, that's too many. They printed way too many. There's just too many Force of Wills floating around. There's too many foil Force of Wills floating around. And now the price is going down. And if you buy a box for $250 and open it, you'll be expected to open $150 worth of cards. So nobody buys Eternal Masters. It's stuck on the shelf. Oops, Wizards printed too much. If they're stuck on the shelves, they have to immediately stop printing the set and say, hey, oops, distributors, put it on sale or something. I don't know. Oops. So now if they intended to sell 2 million boxes, but only 1.6 sold and they had to actually stop the print run, okay, now they drove the singles price so low that they cannot sell the sealed product. But here's the thing. No matter if they overprinted or underprinted, it's going to land at the same number of sales. It's just... how many do people actually want? How much can the whole inventory worldwide actually take in? So basically what I'm saying is, why would they super short print Eternal Masters to the point where, yeah, a box is really, really expensive and all the singles are expensive because nobody has any floating around worldwide, and they created all this demand and people want it, and then they stopped. You don't create a ton of demand and then not sell anybody any product. Unless you're Nintendo, that's basically a business plan for some reason. If you generated demand and then did nothing with it and just decided not to sell any more product, that is insane. That is so stupid. That's like Apple saying, well, we sold 1 million iPhones. We're just done. We got 10 million more people who want iPhones, but we're just not going to make any more because we just don't want money. It's really about as simple as that. Here is the little meta part on top of this, though. They actually do care about the price of singles because if every single time they print a reprint set, so basically whatever Masters, every single time they consistently take most of the cards in it and just demolish them 75%. So $100 cards become $25 cards. If they do that consistently, quarter after quarter, month after month, year after year, people are going to stop playing Modern. Simple as that. Like assuming it was Modern Masters, for example. Because they know as soon as they buy into a deck, at some point the deck's going to tank. It's going to go down the toilet and, the singles in it are just going to just go down the toilet. That's the simplest way to put it. So why play Modern if Wizards concurrently once a year is going to destroy the price of your deck? Well, I have an idea. It's because, hey, you're spending money, not investing money, and you're spending money to buy a deck, buy a product, buy singles, and then play with them. You have spent the money. It's not an investment. You're using them. You're not buying up a whole bunch of modern cards and putting them in your safe. You're actually playing games with them, but apparently people don't see it that way. I suspect it's probably because they're greedy and selfish, but that's a different video. So short term, printing the balls off of a set would be a pretty good idea because they would rake in a ton of money. Like if they just printed something until people were sick of it and wouldn't touch the box and then stopped, great, they'd make the most amount of money, but long term they would lose players. They would lose customers permanently. So they know that. So that would be the only motivation that Wizards has to take a set and say, we're printing it out to here. We're printing 100,000 boxes and then stopping, and that's it. I don't care what the demand is. We are going to stop. I feel like that's what they did to Eternal Masters because Eternal players have the most money to lose. I mean, if you piss off Eternal players, that's bad. I mean, it's such a small amount of people, but they're long-time players, and if they start quitting, that's really, really bad. It's bad PR, it's bad marketing. You know they're going to go online and just scream about it to everybody and tell everybody to boycott Wizards and, you know. So yeah, I think they were kind of tiptoeing into this one saying, we're going to print Eternal cards for the first time in like forever. Some of these cards haven't been printed in like 10, 15 years. But we're going to do so small of a number that we can't possibly piss anybody off. If anything, we'll lower the price 10 to 20% tops, and only temporarily. So I think that's what they did. I really do. I think that's what they did. I don't think they said, oh my God, we printed 100,000 boxes and so far we shipped only 50,000 for some reason to our distributors. People bought them all and, oh my God, the price of singles are going down the toilet. We're going to hold on to the other 50,000 and give some time for the market to recover. No, screw it. It takes money to store that stuff. I mean, you gotta kind of, to a certain extent, climate control it. Yeah, it's sealed, but I mean, come on. And then, you know, it takes shelf space. You gotta insure it. You gotta insure the building. You have to have built the building. You gotta pay the mortgage on the building. You gotta insure the inventory itself. It is expensive to hold stuff. I think it's more in line with Wizards' corporate personality to just say, oh, we sent the first 50,000 out. Oh crap, it tanked prices. Oh well, whatever. We made a mistake. We'll print less next time. Here, have the other 50,000. It just doesn't seem like something they would do to hold on to the product. I mean, when have they ever said, oh, Modern Masters is driving down the price of this, this, and this too much. Oops, we better hold a whole bunch and release it in the future. People won't think that's suspicious at all. They have quite literally never done this before. Never, ever, ever. They've never taken a limited print run set and then released it exactly verbatim later. So this would have to be the very first time that they did it, and I don't think that's what they did. Here's an alternate scenario for you. Everybody wanted Eternal Masters. They heard it was going to be super short run. And then some people, well, most people didn't believe it because that's what they say about every Modern Masters. And there's always enough of that to go around. But once stores were like, hey, we sold out on day one, or hey, 100% of what we're getting in the one and only wave is spoken for. We can't sell you a box. Okay, now it got real. Okay, now there's a scarcity and a shortage. People are going online. They're paying $3.60 a box. So people are going nuts over this. It's like, you know, Black Friday. People getting out there, you know, brass knuckles and punching each other in the face to get one box of Eternal Masters. See, I don't know that happened, but I just feel like somewhere it probably did. You guys know personally I'm more of a pepper spray and taser kind of guy. I mean, when I saw Battle for Zendikar fat packs at Walmart at 2 a.m., I would have body checked somebody into the, like, cosmetics aisle to get to it. So some higher up person at Hasbro's looking at the sales numbers and saying, wow, you guys had, you had this, it sold kind of well. You had this, it didn't sell so well. You had this and that sold consistently well. Cool. What the hell? What is this Eternal Masters thing? What is this? This sold in like a day. Like you sold out in like a day. Why didn't you print more of this? You are literally leaving money on the table. If people want it and there's after the whole world was sold out of Eternal Masters except for the hoarders, then people are like, oh my God, I want more. Print more. So some moron at Hasbro who has no idea what they're talking about, which clearly evidently is who's running the company at this point, they tell the Wizards specific branch people, hey, print this again. You didn't print enough the first time. You left potential profits on the table. Print more. And then the people at Wizards are like, that's not how we do things. If we call it a limited print run, that means it's limited. Yes, we completely screwed it up the first time. We probably should have printed double the amount. Oops, but we can't go back on it now. And then the Hasbro person on the phone is like, no, print it or you're fired. And here we go, just in time for Christmas, another Eternal Masters set. One more myth I have to dispel. I worked at a printing facility. The setup fees are not exactly as some people have stated them. Okay, I send you a PDF or a PSD file or something, and you look it over and say, okay, these are the colors, we're going to adjust it, we're going to make it, convert it to CMYK if you're an idiot, but they would probably do it natively in CMYK. But still, I mean, even the highest $10,000 IPS monitor is going to be RGB, so you want to run it once and make sure that it looks on paper like it does on the screen. So you run all these proofs, you send the proofs to get approved, you tweak the colors a little bit, you go to every individual card, you revise it, then send them a new version of the PDF or PSD. Or like TIFF or JPEG, whatever, doesn't matter. Finally, you get the final one, and then you hit, print 1,000, go. And then just print them, send them to the cutter. You package them up, you make the cardboard, great. That is a long and expensive process. That costs a lot of money. Once you've already done that once before, it costs a tiny fraction of that amount to do it again. And I know that because our customers would reorder something and we'd say, hey, we'll waive the entire setup fee. Don't even worry about it. Yes, we have a minimum, that we charge just to start a job, but the whole setup fee and the whole testing fee and proof fee and mailing stuff back and forth, we don't need to do that because we already did it. We already know that the digital copy has flawless colors. We're just going to run off one, look at it and be like, okay, let's go, done. I mean, it is like the express way the second time. So this whole thing about having to pay the entire setup and testing fee twice is utter nonsense. That is just far from the truth. Yes, to ship in the blank paper, to put it there, get it, forklift it off the truck, put it next to the machine. Yeah, there's a setup fee. There's a setup time. There's a setup effort. Before you can just hit, Control P, enter, okay, go, cut it, package it, ship it. But compared to the whole song and dance that you do the first time, trust me, it is negligible. So for them to just go to the printing facility and say, hey, if we give you 3 weeks, 1 month notice, whatever, can you get in the materials, use the same old digital copies, and just run this again? They would say, absolutely, no problem, dirt cheap, don't even worry about it. So all that logic completely out the window. That is not a valid reason. So overall, I would say with what I know and what I see, and the logic is the way I see it, I'd give it about a 20% chance that Wizards was sitting on these the whole time, and an 80% chance, no wait, a 79% chance, you know where I'm going with this, 79% chance that they actually legitimately did another print run because somebody at Hasbro said, hey, you guys could make more money on this, you didn't print enough, print it again. And then I give a 1% chance to something that isn't either of those. It is conceivable that something really weird happened, like they had a completely non-transparent wrapped set of pallets that said that they were Commander 2016, and then they unwrapped one and they're like, holy crap, this is mislabeled Eternal Masters. And then they're like, crap, let's check them all. Oh my god, we have 50 pallets of it, what the hell? And then they're like, let's announce a second print run and just call it a second print run. Maybe there's a 1% chance that there was a tiny miscommunication and the graphics facility was supposed to be printing Aether Revolt and they accidentally printed the wrong file and actually printed Eternal Masters again. I think I'm going to up that to actually 5%. That can and will happen. So we don't know, but one thing I do know is that they would have to literally be outright word for word lying in their announcement because they called it a reprint. A reprint means that they reprinted it. They printed it again, not a re-release. Now, if they use the word re-release, okay, it's dropping to 1% chance. But they use the word reprint, and one of the hundreds of people that work at the graphics facility could say, we never printed a second run of this. We're printing Aether Revolt. What the hell are you talking about? Oops. The only other counter argument that I want to add at the end is that Rudy, the guy who initially had, made a video saying that he's very certain that they're just sitting on product this whole time, he said that he had an actual source. It's not just a theory. It's not just something that he saw from the evidence and made a conclusion. He said he had an actual source. Rudy knows a lot of people. People who own $1 million in Magic cards tend to have some connections with, the company and other people and other traders who know a guy who know a guy who knows a guy who works at Wizards. Maybe he knows a guy who knows a guy who works at the printing facility. So that alone could blow this whole thing wide open. So it's still up in the air. I'm not saying solidly that no, Wizards didn't lie. And I guess maybe we'll never find out. But I just thought I'd weigh in when you consider absolutely all the evidence on the table, all the logic, everything we know. I would say that the majority of the probability states that they actually did reprint it. The number one thing that I cannot figure out is why the hell they're not doing it with WPN allocations. I see absolutely no logic there except for better PR if too many shops and online single sellers that don't have a play location were complaining. When have they ever given a crap about that in the past? Although I will mention that Kaladesh really pissed off some single sellers, me included. The singles were worthless and we all lost our butts on it, okay? So maybe some of the non-WPN single sellers that had to go through really shady channels to get any Eternal Masters and pay probably way more than they should have, they were like pitchfork and torch rioting and saying this is a load of crap, we're just gonna stop selling your product, and Wizards is like crap, print another Eternal Masters and send it to them. So that's like a fourth or fifth possibility, I don't know. I can't think of any other reason they would make this non-WPN. I really can't. They even said they want people to draft it. Well, that's sure as hell not going to happen if you don't send it to a WPN location. So that in itself contradicted itself. In conclusion, I will say that this is the strangest, most unexpected, most confusing, weird thing that I have ever seen Wizards do in the last 4 years. I'm sure in 24 years they've done something stranger, like, for example, Summer Magic. Summer Magic went tits up in a hurry. That's probably my favorite story. That's a story for another video though, so I will see you guys next video.